Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Sunday, June 8th, and I am one of the two co-hosts of this program. I am Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and I am joined to grace your presence, talking about your finances, by Mark Talercio, who is the executive producer of this program. He's also a certified financial planner. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Joe. Sorry, just got two screens in front of me with the French Open going on.
Oh my God, stop it!
But how are you?
You know, Mark is a huge tennis fan, as is a friend of ours from work who has retired a long time ago, Connie, as is my sister. Those are the last three tennis fans in the United States of America. Thank you very much. And what's the worst time of year? It's the Australian Open, because that's when none of you are sleeping, right?
Yeah, I used to really stay up and watch a lot of that, but that ship has sailed. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, brother. Should I go to the Open this year? It's like cuts down on my beach time. I usually give up tickets when they're offered to me. Do you want them?
I only go on that Labor Day Monday. That's really the day that I go.
I like those early rounds when you can walk around outside and see a lot of the people. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. It's fun. If you're visiting New York, it's a fun thing to do for sure. Okay, Mark, it is now June, which means, of course, it is we're out of college graduation, but we're heavy duty coming into high school graduations. And this is one of my favorite things to do, which is to find out from everybody, what was your worst summer job when you were in high school? What was your worst summer job when you were in high school? Mark, you first.
That's an easy one. I've answered this before. I'm not sure which show it was on, but I have answered it. The worst job, hands down, that I ever had was working for UPS.
How'd you get that job? That's kind of like a union-based job. Like, how'd you get that?
Yeah, we knew somebody there, and that person got me in. But, I was a loader, so I was loading and unloading the trailers. It was an overnight shift.
Oof.
In the middle of the summer. It was hot as hell in those trailers, and those trailers are double level. So you do the first level, then all the floors fold up, and there's a whole another level below it. And it was brutal. I would come out, and I would just blow my nose, and the tissue was just black. It's just all sorts of crap.
That is disgusting. Yeah. Remember the guy who called us and told us that he worked like in a meat processing plant, and you were like, okay, you win?
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Horrible. And mine was, I had to work with the intense ladies in my mother's real estate office. They were not nice. I have to be honest with you. They were kind of a brutal group. They just did not treat us very well. Also, I then worked for a town doing refereeing. Oh, that the parents, they just kill you. And by the way, my father was one of those worst, offenders. He would yell at refs all the time. So embarrassing. Those were not great jobs, but we all do them and they stink. So everyone, encourage your kids, ditch the internship, do the rotten job. That's my 2 cents. Did you ever have an internship, Mark?
Yeah, my internship led to my first job in journalism. And then from there, the rest is history. Yeah.
My first internship was at the NBC affiliate in Providence, Rhode Island, WJAR television. It didn't lead to this career, but it was very interesting. It was how I decided to go to Wall Street, because I was like, wow, you work so hard in journalism and you make no money.
That I would say my internship, that probably was worth the price of college for me, because without that internship, I don't know what would have happened. It was key. It was huge for me.
Well, that's good. I liked it. I'm all about I like any work experience, but I also like getting paid. I think it's important. All right, Mark, let's remind everybody that if you want to talk to us about what's going on in your financial life, get in touch with us. You go to JillOnMoney.com. That is where everything lives for us, all of our content. And you can go to the top upper right-hand corner, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you want to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Now, also on the website, sign up for the free weekly newsletter, comes out every Friday. And also be very clear that, there's all sorts of other stuff there. There's a blog there. There are videos. There's resources. So bookmark JillOnMoney.com. All right. Right now, let us talk to Ed, who joins us from the Midwest. He's just back from a nice long weekend. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. What's up? What can we do for you?
So I reached out to you folks because I'm preparing, or at least I'm trying to prepare to retire by 50.
What? What are you going to do?
Well, I should say pivot. I would be a better way to put it.
Okay, better.
Maybe potentially leave my profession, try something new, kind of to use your own, a money reset. I don't know. It's still too TBD, but that's kind of I want to leave my industry. I started in my early 20s. I'm in my early 40s now. I'm not quite burned out, but the finish line is getting there in a few years.
Ed, when you look at like your kind of your career, how has it changed getting deeper into it? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh no, in your 50s, that's when you really know what you're doing. This is when you should really go for it." Like, what's changed for you besides just accumulating some money?
Well, I've grown. I'm self-employed. I've grown my business pretty substantially from when I started it, and it's more of a quality of life thing. It's not that it's taken over my life, but it's a very high stress job. I manage staff. I manage lots and lots of clients. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. I've had to kind of adapt and evolve my business to become more efficient so that I can continue to scale. And now it's like I said, it's not something that I want to do until, they throw dirt over me. So,
okay. That's okay. So that's important though. It's like you've done what you set out to do. You've gotten there. And now it's like, okay, what happens next? So you said you're in your early 40s. What's your actual age?
I just turned 42.
Okay. And are you married, single, partnered?
I am married and I have 3 children.
How old's your spouse?
My wife is 40. She'll be 40 next month.
Okay. And is she working full time?
She is. She's an educator.
How much would you guess she makes?
She makes about 50.
Okay. Would she want to also kind of scale back, or maybe, I don't know what your rules are for the pension, but what is she thinking?
I think she wants to continue to working. She likes her profession. She likes, I could see her. I don't know if she's is going to go till, she's 70 years old, but probably after my 8-year window, she would continue to work.
Okay. And how old are the kids right now?
My eldest is 19. I have a 17-year-old and a 10-and-a-half-year-old.
Okay. And is 19-year-old in college or on their own or working?
In college, correct. Yes.
Okay. So what is that? We just finished freshman year or sophomore year?
Freshman year, yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And have you guys saved money for college for these guys?
We're cash flowing it basically. So that's. I mean, we've kind of invested our money elsewhere, but we have the monthly income where we can cash flow it.
So is your idea around the 50 just to be like, okay, we can get my 10-year-old sort of started and in college? Is it pegged to that a little bit? Okay.
That's exactly correct. At that point, he will be through high school. The decision of education will be made. And at that point, my wife, we've kind of set a budget of what we're willing to pay. So my kids have skin in the game. And by that point, we should be in position to, they're through school, the decision of school is made, and we can help them along the way.
That sounds great. Okay, so how much money have you guys salted away for the pivot? So let's start with you. Your retirement account. What kind of retirement have you set up for yourself?
I have a self-employed simple.
Okay.
And between that and a standard IRA, I have about $260,000 in traditional retirement.
Okay, great.
My wife has about $218,000 in traditional, and then another $23,000 in Roth. We have about $500,000 in 2 brokerage accounts, I should say.
Do you manage that yourselves, or do you work with somebody?
One of them I have about 150 grand in. That's with an advisor, and then about 350 that's with me that I manage myself.
And what else do you have that's been floating around?
We have a couple of properties. We have our primary residence, and that is paid.
How much is that worth?
That's worth, according to Zillow, about $465,000.
And you're about to
and that's paid off, right? No mortgage. We have a property in the northern part of the state where we live. That's our cottage. That has about $165,000 mortgage at 2.9%. We have about 25 years left on that mortgage, and that one's worth about $425-ish, I'd say.
You want to keep that though, right? That's like your fun, getaway.
Absolutely. That's the last thing that I would sell.
Okay.
I also own a parcel of land near the cottage of 10 acres of vacant land that I recently purchased.
What's that worth?
About $75,000, and that's also clear title.
Okay.
We have an investment property as well, but we are actually under contract within the next 2 to 3 weeks that will be selling.
What will you get out of that?
We'll probably net about 150-ish grand, I would say, free and clear.
What are you going to do with that 150? Is there anything in particular?
Probably on the initial onset, I was going to kind of move a little bit around through T-bills, probably a couple ETFs, just try to put the money to work.
Right. So you add it to the brokerage account.
Just add it to the brokerage account, maybe, high yield savings, stuff like that.
But you don't need to do anything to your house or the cottage with that money.
No,
right?
no. In fact, we just had a significant remodel last year that is fully done. So our cottage is good.
Got it. Okay. So how much money do you earn? I know that you're self-employed, so there's a lot of different ways you can, but just give me from a cash flow perspective, what is it that you take out of this business?
Monthly, between 30 and 50,000 a month.
30 and 50 a month?
Yeah.
I'm just Mark, did you hear that? Did you hear that genuine reaction of 30? My goodness. Okay. Where's all this money going?
In saving. I'm hammering my brokerage account is not that old. It's only about 3 years old, so I'm hitting it.
Okay. So have you always made this much money, or is this more recent?
It's been steadily increasing the past 10 years, but it's
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So is there any way that when you get to be 50 that you say you have staff, you have clients, but is this a business that will have an actual selling value? Can you sell
Yes.
it or yes? Okay.
Yes.
So let's say it's 8 years from now. It seems to me you're putting a ton of money away every year now than just, since you have $500,000 already. So let's do a couple of things. Number one is, what do you think you need to live on?
Our monthly expenses, including college tuition, are about $10,000 a month.
What do you think the value of the company is, the business that you've created?
Today?
Yeah, let's say today.
Conservatively, $1 million.
What do you think is, what are you putting away savings wise and let's not do 50 grand a month. Let's just say that you made 300 or 400 grand a year. Okay. Not the higher end, but okay. And your wife makes her 50. You're maxing out your simple, but what are you putting into that brokerage account? What do you guess?
Just calculated that this morning, $105,000 a year.
Oh boy. Okay. That's great.
I'm dollar cost averaging into ETFs.
Okay, great. You have just some money in the bank also that's floating around?
Yes, I do.
How much?
Liquid between T-bills and high yield savings today, excluding the net proceeds of that rental, we are at about 300, 270, excuse me, about 270.
Yeah, but I mean, you basically don't have any mortgages, and you've got a lot of liquidity, and you got money, and now you're basically saying, hey, Jill and Mark, if I crank for the next 8 years, am I on track to be able to pay for expenses? Forget about the 10 grand a month. How much are you putting in college? A couple thousand a month?
No, we're not. We're cash flowing that, so I haven't.
I know, but what do you said your expenses are 10,000 a month. What do you say?
We're spending per child. We're spending 20,000 a year per child for tuition.
Okay, so if I said that you basically, let's just pretend it's like 8,000 or 8,500 a month are like your real expenses, right?
That's about right. That's correct.
And then your wife keeps working. And what about healthcare? Do you get your healthcare benefits through her, right?
Correct. Yes.
Until what age would she have to work to claim her pension? What would be the age?
Her pension, I believe, is 65.
Really?
And it's not a very large pension because she works in a private district. So she at one point was involved with a public program that had a pension, but she's since left that.
All right. Should I factor that into our calculation, like that she would at 65 get that, or not really? Should I just?
It's going to be a negligible amount. I wouldn't.
Okay. All right. So, Mark Tilleris here. Are you listening to all of this? Have you paid attention, sir? Because I sure have. This is an interesting story because it sounds to me, Ed, like you were making a bunch of money, but it really has ratcheted up. Mm-hmm. And that means that you're able to do all this savings. So obviously, if you were making, 100 grand a year and your wife's making 50 grand a year and you were just kind of, doing good job saving some money, we wouldn't be talking about age 50. So this idea of pivoting at age 50 is predicated on the fact that the business will keep being able to generate enough money so that you're saving money in your simple and also this $100,000 or so a year into the brokerage account, right?
Correct.
Okay. We keep the cottage, we keep the land, we keep the residence, we get these kids through college. Now, Mark, do you think that Ed and his educator wife will be able to actually make this pivot in 8 years? What's your guesstimate on that?
I don't see why not. And, he eventually in like 10 years or so wants to sell that primary home, which has no mortgage. So that's another slug of money coming in. Yeah. I mean, it sounds doable to me.
I mean, I think it's actually a good problem to have. I guess I want to ask one question about the 10.5-year-old, only because you have the money right now. I'm just tiny little tax arbitrage here. Would we not be better off taking some of the cash that comes from the net out of the investment property and just popping the money into a 529 for the 10.5-year-old and being done with it? So you don't have to cash flow that? Because for me, it's like, all right, I don't know, like maybe maybe you're going to have a lot more money. Maybe you just want to know, I have 10.5-year-old's education socked away. I'm going to put, some money in this year. You can look at the 529 account in your state. I don't know if you get a state income taxes. I don't even know if it's worth it to do it for the 19 and 17-year-old, but since you have the cash right now, the reason why I like it is that if I compare investing for 8 to 12 years, right, for your 10-year-old, right, and I compare it using a 529 versus what you're doing in your brokerage account, one, you have to pay taxes. The other one, you don't. So I like tax-free. And when you put that after-tax dollar into your 529 account for the 10-year-old, is presuming the kid uses it for school, again, you don't have to overfund it, but you can put a chunk of money in. I don't know what it would be, $40,000, $50,000 right now, and then you're done. And you don't have to worry about cash flowing for the little one.
I like it. We had already planned it. The state where we reside, the max tax credit we receive is $10,000 for a household. Yeah. So, but we can put more than that. That's just the maximum we get for the credit, correct? Isn't that how that works?
Right.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could do it. And in fact, if you wanted to, you could just stagger it. You could say, all right, you guys let's say you put 30 grand in this year, you can do 20 grand in January, boom, you're done. Or 30 and 30. Like you can you can make this all easy peasy. So I think you're in great shape. Now, the big question is that if you stop at 50, you get your health benefits through your wife. If for some reason, let's just pretend that like you're living large, you've really worked hard at 50. She is like, oh, I don't want to keep working. I want to be with you. And maybe you don't have healthcare coverage through her, then your cash flow needs would be a little bit more, right? That's the only thing that I see in this, that like maybe if she didn't want to work and you didn't get those benefits through her, then you would have to change. But I think that it sounds like you're in very good shape. You're socking the money away. 3 more questions before I let you go. Number one is, do you have life insurance on your life? Because we are predicating this plan based on you socking away money. So if you drop dead, you mess up our plan.
Correct. Yes, I already have life insurance.
What do you have?
I believe $1 million in term. There's about 22 years left on that term.
$1 million. Almost sounds a little bit light to me.
My advisor said the same thing.
Mark, what do you think? I feel like he needs like a little bit more. Is there anything?
He could get another $1 million for like, probably $75 a month.
No, I think be more. He's 42. He's a man. All right. I think you need, I would look at another $1 million of term. Get it for 10 years. Just do like a 10-year term. Who cares? That's all you need. We're only worried about the next 10 years.
Right.
If something bad happens in the next 10 years, it's not going to be good for your wife. Okay. For lots of reasons, but financially. So I think look for another 10-year, $1 million, 10-year term. Okay. So that's number one, insurance. Do you have your state documents done?
All done.
Oh, sweet, man. Sweet.
All done.
Number 3, what the heck are you going to do when you pivot by age 50? What are we going to do? What tell us about
I really love being out in nature. Some form of volunteering, whether it's through like an Audubon Society, trail preservation, something of that nature, just kind of giving back to the general community on preserving our wildlife.
Well, that's great. I love that.
It's obviously that's a passion. That's not an income bearing passion.
Yeah, but that's like, but you have to be able to go someplace. So that's good. All right. Excellent. Fantastic. We wish you the best of luck and keep us posted as to what's happening, because this is really It's a great story. It's a fantastic story. And when I won't make you tell us what you do right now, but when we get off the air, I want to hear about what you do, because I think a lot of people are in this situation. Like, if you're listening to this, you're like, oh my God, he's got so much money. Yeah, but he didn't start that way. In fact, when you first started your business, Ed, what do you think you were making in that business?
Nothing.
Zero. For how long?
I'll put it. Here's an example. So when I was 9 months into my business, I had $200 in the bank. Oof. I was 3 months behind in my house payment. But we knew we were going to stay the course. The business was going to succeed. I believed in myself. So yes, we literally came from nothing, zero.
Do you feel like your kids have no interest in taking over that business? Or might that happen?
Softly mention it from time to time. I don't think that they would want to. I think one of my younger children would be very successful at it, but that's I can't force that down their throat. That's their decision. So,
well, exactly.
I want them to be, I don't want them to be resentful, get into something and say, this isn't what I want to do. And then all is lost,
Yeah. I mean, I think that would make sense to me, that it would be important for us to, say to our kids, hey, this is available to you. It's pretty awesome. However, don't feel like you have to. I think that's good. I like that. I like that as a general idea. Okay. And so I'm glad that it sounds to me like you're in really good shape and you've done a great job creating this future for yourself. So congratulations. And thanks for helping us and telling your story. It's really a fascinating one. So if you're listening and you got a small business and you're struggling, hey, this dude's 42. It took a while and he got there. So maybe give us a holler. We can help you out. We can start our own little Money Watch consulting practice where we just lift you up a little bit. So if you've got a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. If you want to join us live on the air, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Don't forget, you can sign up for the free weekly newsletter on the website, and you can also subscribe to Jill on Money Live. That is where for $45 for the next 12 months, you have access to quarterly live webinars. You also get the back catalog, including the fantastic recent one with Mike Quincy, and bonus audio and video content. Jill on Money Live. Okay, Mark Telaire, so he is the co-host and executive producer. He is the king of all things web here. We drop our episodes on Saturdays and Sundays, and you can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And put your hands metaphorically on someone's back. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.